bless his brothers. We're looking at 10,000 Reasons. The finger picking, the start of it. So to start off, you need to play like the top half of a G chord. Use these two fingers because it makes it easier. And you're going to play the top string and the D and the G strings. So these three. And like the rhythm goes like this. So it goes. Then you hammer on to the second fret of the G string and then back off. So that's how it goes. Then you play your B string open, then you play it on the 3rd fret, then you play the C chord with the E string at the bottom, and the 3rd fret and the B again, back to a G with the B string, then you switch to a D and you play the D and G strings, you hammer on to the 4th fret with the G string, so it goes. So then back off, so that goes, and then you play it open, the G string and the D string, then you go to an E minor chord and you play the top 3 strings, then you go back to a C chord, you play the 5th string and the 4th string, so the A string and the D string, then the G, then you play the 3rd fret and the B, then you go to a G chord, play the B string open, then you play the G string, then you hammer on to the 2nd fret of the G string and you play a D chord. So that goes. Then you play this little thing on the bottom of the D and it goes. So that you play the D string, so you hammer on and then back off. Then you play it open on the bottom. Then you go back to a C chord, E string, E minor, C chord again, D chord, E minor again, but on the B string. Then you play these harmonics. You play the bottom 3 strings down. So that goes. Then after that it goes on the C chord, you play your A string and your G string, so you play the G string and then both, then you hammer on to the 2nd fret of the G string, then B string open, then you play D chord with the D string and the G string, then you let go of the G string, play it open, then you play the G chord again, and that finishes it. So that goes. And you just finish it off like that. So I'll go through it all again and I'll play it slow so you can see what's going on. As well as that, I'm going to show you this side of it, because I've shown you what you do with your left hand, but this is what goes on with the right hand as well. So you're playing this G chord at the start. I remember I said you're playing these 3 strings, so you're playing the top one, and the D and the G. So you're playing. So you play all three together at the start. Then you play them down. So you play them down twice. So that goes. Then you do your hammer on that I was talking about. So you play all of them, but you hammer on to the G string. Like that. So then you pull off at the end. Then you play the B string. Then you play the 3rd fret. Then you go to your C chord. 3rd fret and the B string again. Back to the G. And you play the top and the G and the B. So you're playing. Then the E string, D and G again, like before. Then you go to a D chord and you just play the D string and the G string. You do your little hammer on. So you basically do that 4 times while you're messing about with the chords. So you go. Then you play your E minor chord and you play the top 3. So that goes. Then you switch to your C chord again. And you play the 5th string, the A string and the D string like that. G, 3rd fret and the B. Back to a G chord, play the top, play the B string as well. G string, hammer onto a D chord. Bottom string with the hammer on and pull off. So after you do the hammer off, you go down, up the strings and then back down. We go back to a C chord, so it went. And the way that goes is you play the A string, the B and D string together on the C chord, then you play them down, so you're playing. Then you play the 3rd fret and the B, so that goes. Then you play the E string, the G and the B string on the E minor chord, so that's. Then you play C chord as before with the A, B and E strings. Then you play the D chord with the D, B and E strings. Then the E minor chord again with the E, G and B strings. So that goes. Sorry. Then you play your harmonics. You play the G, B and E strings down at the 12th fret. And the way you do that, you have to lightly touch your finger on the harmonic and then take it off. But obviously it's not as exaggerated, so you go. So that goes. Then you play the G string by itself. Then you play the top half of your C chord with your A string and your G string. So that goes. Then you hammer on your G string to the 2nd fret. B string by itself. Then D chord with the D and G strings. Then G by itself. And then the G chord to finish. But actually you got to hammer that off. So that goes like that. So that goes. And whatever you want to finish. So one more time. God bless us, brothers. Hope you enjoy learning this. It's a wonderful song.